You might be hungry.
May be the world's greatest detective. But
something tells me
that my daughter is a super hungry. Of course, the first thing she needs is not food.
No.
The first thing she needs is to be picked up, so she knows I care.
Yep.
And then I better be quick with the food.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm talking about the baby, she'll eat literally anything. Unlike the toddler, who won't even eat the only thing she wants to eat if she doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, that Angus will not. He will scream bloody murder for his bottle. He has a very particular bottle murder scream. It's distinctive. It means I want the bottle. But if he's had to wait for a little bit too long, or if he's upset, or if he's in pain,
then we need to suffer for a little while.
You have to suffer for a long time. Holding him is the only thing that helps. But most of the time, you have to hold him for 15-20 minutes before he will even consider shutting up long enough to eat his bottle that he was screaming for in the fucking first place.
Yeah, I don't even do that.
The screaming, man.
Well, my kids get like 2 minutes of holding, and then it's like, you know what? It's time for you to deal with this on your own.
Oh my God. I honestly don't know if... I know for sure that does not work on Charlie because she just gets, like, frustrated.
Yeah.
And goes in, like... She just makes it worse.
Yeah.
She just makes it worse, man.
I can picture this.
Or tries to make it better by, like, being entertaining, you know, but her being entertaining is, like,
to
annoying as shit.
Oh, man.
My sweet little girl. That's cool that it did both of those.
I love seeing the girls play together now, which is something they're actually learning how to do without, like, not
being
always causing
forced.
mental breakdowns for their siblings.
Yeah.
But eventually, yes, every time that is exactly what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it means that when they play together, they get in like 4 times the amount of trouble. Because that's how that works. And Brooklyn is definitely a ringleader, and Zoe is the perfect follower. I mean, as a little sister, she's just super interested in whatever Big Sis is doing at any time.
Yep.
But also, Zoe is a natural-born lookout for crimes and support, and Brooklyn is by far the point person.
Mm-hmm.
Busiest and most daring. And fully aware of where all the fun stuff is stashed.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm going against the arrows. I shouldn't go against it. There's a button there now. I think I already hit that button.
You hit that a long time ago.
I did.
Marriage joke.
Aha. Ah. Oh my God, I can walk up that. I had no idea. Hey. Mine. I don't even feel like killing these guys anymore.
Yeah, it's
get to the end.
It doesn't matter if you have more XP because you can just whack things for a little bit longer. All you really have to do is kill the bosses. And the funny thing is, it's almost cheaper just to ignore them anyway.
Yeah, you just run on through.
Because you are constantly losing health as you play the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've lost a lot less just by avoiding the guys.
And I remember that one of the reasons I wouldn't play this game very often is because I was constantly losing health as I was playing. I feel like
I remember discovering that and feeling incredibly shit.
there are better ways of getting people to reliably spend money on the game that have been explored in detail.
Like making your game better.
Well, or just difficulty spikes are a pretty reliable one, where the first third of a stage or the game in general is pretty easy, say the first couple of minutes, and then after that it starts to ramp up and skill really pays off, and eventually it'll just gradually bring you to the point of you need to keep feeding this quarters if you want to beat the boss or the level. And still there's just enough room for it to be possible to beat the entire game on 1 credit. And that is literally impossible with this game.
Yes.
Only because of the health drain, and that is a shame. Because I feel like in any one of these games, the possibility of a no damage run
would be pretty intense.
makes it so much more interesting as a skilled player, and you can watch those people.
Yeah, skilled players would love this shit if that tape wasn't there.
I haven't seen a skilled player at all play this game. You're welcome. But I don't see how that would be all that interesting.
It really wouldn't.
This game, like, the best you can do is actually use your special attack every now and then, but that bar takes a long time to fill up, and after that, you know, map knowledge pays off. So you could watch somebody that knows where all the runes and things are, but I mean, even those aren't all that exciting, and power-ups are all temporary.
It's just finding a thing, and if you unlock all of them, what does it get you?
I don't know.
High score?
You know what? I would just look it up on YouTube and not be impressed.
Yep.
That's the world we live in now. And the runes thing, you know, the hidden items are definitely something that back in the day would have made this a lot more playable.
Oh yeah, sure.
But I'd rather see more of a payoff for skill. You know, give us a dodge button.
Yeah,
so we can actually dodge attacks, so that you.
No, you just slowly lumber around after they have already been fired and hope you get out of the way in time.
Give people an ability to shoot and scoot. It'd be even cooler if they had like twin sticks, or if while you're doing a ranged attack, you stay facing the same direction.
Yes.
So you could strafe.
That'd be
pretty
great.
simple.
Yeah,
you know, you don't need
any
new architecture to do that or programming. And just make it to where it's possible. You can make it really hard. You can make it as hard as you want, but make it to where it's possible to beat the game on 1 credit. Yeah. And that'll give everybody something to push toward, which means more people will want to keep playing the game after they've beat it. Because if you beat this game, there's nothing left to see.
No.
And there's nothing left to do.
Yeah.
So
there's certainly no like new game plus type shit.
The way that this game keeps people playing is just by being impossible to beat on their budget. Yes. It's literally not worth beating, and that's what keeps people coming back to it. Is they'll spend a couple of bucks, you know, maybe $5, and then you don't really want to play it anymore, but you don't hate the game either.
Yeah.
So
which is
next time you show up, maybe you spend a few bucks on it.
The mediocre games are almost the worst ones.
And that's a formula that works, but it could be better.
They're showering me with gold right now.
Skip.
Nah, come on.
Also, if Dragon's Crown was just straight up an arcade game, it would make so much money. It would make a fantastic arcade game. I'm glad that it's not an arcade game.
We'll play it now.
Dragon's Crown, PS4 and PSP. I have it on my PSP. If I can find my PSP, you could just take it home with you and play it. I haven't touched that thing in ages.
Yeah, I liked the idea a lot more than the execution on that one. Just what the hell was wrong with the PSP?
Well, the Vita is a serious upgrade in hardware.
I imagine so, but they didn't fix the one thing they should have fixed, and they fucked up the rest that was totally fine.
The Vita, the games look so good on the Vita because it's a tiny screen with high resolution.
Yeah, which,
and
you know, things look better on your phone than they do on it.
The wireless capabilities, like the internet stuff, and all of the wireless abilities that it has, way better than the PSP. But they're both really good consoles. I'm kind of surprised they're not more popular, but Nintendo has a pretty good hold on the mobile market, and everybody's playing games on their cell phones now.
Oh my god!
Is it a different boss?
It's a different boss.
Holy smokes!
It's the same.
They have two bosses.
It's the same fucking boss.
I don't know. He hasn't done it. Yeah, he's different.
He did a different thing.
He's different. I mean, it's the same style, but it, you know.
Yeah, it should be nice if I could strafe right here. Just go in circles.
Is there any way to avoid that attack?
I don't
other
think
than
so.
going like all the way around him?
I think going down here.
There you go.
Yeah,
Going down there.
There you go.
And then you could go up. Go do good, not do bad. One of the things that they've done with this one, that all of the bosses have noticed so far, is it's really difficult to damage the boss and also defend yourself. To the point where you're just kind of encouraged to tank them and feed money into it. If you don't want to spend a bunch, it's literally like pay to progress, you know? Like you could spend a lot of time trying to beat him as your health drains.
So you get 2 hits, and then you have to dodge. That's the thing. Oh, he made a new thing.
Was he blocking your attacks there?
Nope,
I
he was
can't
making
tell.
tornadoes. Oh, he
Also,
shot out his eyeball.
Just the amount of health the bosses has is pretty obnoxious, because it goes past the point of being fun. If they dealt more damage but had less health, I think they'd be more fun.
Yep.
It'd be more intense fights instead of just expensive and long. But again, this is balanced for 4 people,
I mean,
so if you got 4 people attacking him, it'd be really fast.
No, I don't know. Even still, just getting 2-3 hits each before you... Well, I guess somebody could constantly be attacking you. That one's a bitch.
I gotta pee like crazy.
Go ahead. I'll keep this incredibly intense train a-rolling.
Boy, yeah.
defeated the terrible genie
Are you cold?
and recovered his
Come on.
key.
Pretty cool.
You have
I've
found one runestone
destroyed the
from
terrible
this
genie.
Continue now on your
I
quest
found
to
one
take all
runestone.
four keys that unlock the altar of scorn.
Boy, we're really building up this boss Scorn.
Well, it's definitely not just gonna be the same one.
Hope he's not super boring and unexciting to fight.
Oh, me too.
Select a journey.
Wouldn't it be cool if there was a boss that was like small and jumped around the stage and like shot some arrows at you?
Was anything but just a giant thing
And-
that stood in one place doing attacks?
Would like they would like run really fast, like faster than you could follow them, and you'd have to like start throwing your ranged attacks at them, but then they would run up to this switch that would like flood the level of the stage you're on with lava,
Fuck.
so you would have to like jump up onto these platforms, and then they would jump up on the ceiling and like dive down on people and deal like damage to the point where you don't want to just stand on that one platform and let them tear you to pieces. So you would jump from one platform to another, but again there's lava, so you'd need to like not miss your jump. Oh, you can't jump in this game, can you?
Yeah, not even a little.
So there's a thing that doesn't exist.
They probably could just be jumping.
I'd kind of like to see a jumping mechanic in this game.
That's
Like,
fine.
you could even make it to where if you're going... How would I do this? I would do it to where if you press the jump button and then direction, you jump in a direction.
Yeah.
But if you are attacking and you press the jump button and a direction while you're attacking, you do a dodge roll.
It's kind of complicated. Why not just have it be...
Because then you still only need 2 buttons,
Okay.
and then just like in your normal attacking rhythm, as soon as you need to dodge, you just press the jump button and a direction. You know, it's like it doesn't interrupt
Okay.
your
Yeah, no, I
attacks,
gotcha.
you know, and your focus, but it makes you change, it makes you flip that little switch in your brain from target
Attack to
thing,
defense.
target thing to, oh, do other thing, and then you
Yes.
switch back to target thing, which gives you a lot more involvement with your brain, which is how we trick ourselves into thinking we're having fun,
Indeed.
because we're just doing a little bit of creative thinking, and our brains love that.
Yeah, really helps the immersion factor a hell of a lot.
We like to have a simple, stupid thing that we do, and then we switch out to something else, something creative for a little bit, and then we go back to the stupid, simple thing
You're talking
to
about
let our brain kind of rest.
primary and secondary, well, primary loop there, and then like what could develop into a secondary loop.
Well, or just a well-polished primary loop.
Really, that's all you need. That's
Where
all
you-
Mario is.
Because this isn't like...
Jump on things.
This isn't a primary loop as much as it's just a single direction.
Yeah, well, the primary loop is what you are doing from moment to moment to achieve goals, which here is just hit stuff.
Yeah.
And that's there's you can make hit stuff. Fighting games, it's just hit stuff, but in fighting games, the hit stuff is what's important, and you can, you know, build from that and make hit stuff be a lot more dynamic than just hit stuff.
Yeah, there's some depth to it. This has some, for the time, pretty impressive eye candy
Yes.
that does not age well at all.
No.
Like, this art style just does not work
Oh man,
today.
the polygons, they're
If you took this is
Scary.
the technology level of, say, Marvel versus Capcom.
yeah,
That's a game that's still beautiful
yeah.
today
Still looks
because
awesome.
of the art style they
Stylistic
chose.
art choice.
But at the
instead
same
of
time,
realistic.
everybody was excited about 3D when this game was made. And
Oh my god, look what we can do!
there was some beautiful 2D pixel art that people just weren't interested in. So you see a lot of this, and this obviously led to much better things because that interest was still alive.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to see people realizing now that more expensive and intensive graphics are not necessarily
Good,
needed.
better, yeah.
And especially for a game like this, I honestly, I want to see more Dungeons and Dragons
Yeah.
type of arcade game, Shadows of Mystara and whatnot. They don't necessarily need to be D&D specifically, but built the way that one is with
Yes, but D&D has such a developed world and such a deep trove of things you can use. You know, all the monsters, all the shit, and all the stuff.
yeah.
Whoa! I got super fast. That's hilarious.
I'm getting just about sleepy enough to be more interesting.
Holy shit, look at this guy go.
Have I drank any
Wow!
of this yet? I don't
I
think
don't drink much of that yet. Good timing.
Oh, I'm digging those flatbushes.
Everyone likes a nice flat bush.
Yeah, the 90s was, the two-dimensional bush was very popular in the 90s. Just a strip.
I get it.
Yeah, wasn't a lot of depth to that one.
Yeah, I'm not entertaining at all. I'm running on fumes.
We're brain drained today, the both of us. I can tell. You spent a lot of time talking to people today, haven't you?
Yesterday, I spent a lot of time talking to people. Today, I was really trying not to, and still ended up talking all day. So,
Like
yeah.
you are my brother, and I love you, and I have a huge bias toward your beautiful face. But you are easily and without a doubt the best gas station attendant I've ever seen.
Well, thank you.
And if there was like a way for someone to make a good living as a gas station attendant, you would be making a good living. You are
thank
the
you.
best gas station attendant I've ever seen.
Thank
And
you.
you make people want to come back to that gas station. You are making money for Recreation Station by being a fantastic employee.
I have been told every day that I work this week by different people that exact thing. That's like, this one dude, he was like probably almost 400 pounds, like 6'6", whole upper body completely covered in tattoos, including his face and the backs of his hands. And he was just a quiet, nice guy, and we just talked about the weather and his car and stuff. And he came back after he had left and gave me a $10 tip and was like, dude, I didn't want to like weird you out or anything, but it was really nice to be just talk to you like a person for a little bit. Most people don't.
Yes.
Most people don't.
They
like-
just have the script, you know?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
But
they
you
don't-
definitely get used to just being, you know, customer next,
Yeah.
as opposed to potentially interesting person that's probably super chill. And you know what?
Yeah, he was. He was a cool dude, man. He had some cool stories, some really interesting tattoos, and
Customer service is 90%
it's
of
so
why
easy.
people-
I don't get why people don't do it all
Well,
the time.
you know, there really
be
is
nice to
something. There really
humans.
is something special about your personality that you're genuinely interested in every little life that you encounter. And I just like, I want to adopt everybody's kids, which is like my deal. And
Yeah.
even it doesn't matter what age someone is, they're all children to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, part of growing up early is that even people that are older than me, I see them as like
younger, yeah. Because I mean,
kids.
the life experience is fairly obvious when you meet a person. Like, or rather, when someone is very un-life experienced, you
Isn't
can
it?
tell quite quickly.
Well, and like,
So, oh, you cute little thing! Look at you, being all sweet and innocent.
I've
Don't ever change.
been like surprised recently by. I just kind of expect people to. This is a totally different subject, but you just kind of expect people to grow up when they grow up.
Yes, and they
then
just haven't.
Occasionally you'll meet someone who this could be just like a small area of their life where they haven't grown into maturity.
Yes.
And it's just surprising, like.
Yes, but it stands out, especially with older people.
Yeah. It's sort of shocking when
You can see them, when you all of a sudden see them as a child throwing a fit.
Yeah, well, or a lot of the stuff I recognize in my own kids, like
Yes.
when they just don't
They've never
have
learned
control
the
of
lesson.
their emotions is a good example, right?
Yeah.
Like the reason she's upset is not because she's not getting what she needs, but it's because
Her
she's
feelings
upset
are not being acknowledged.
about, well, no, she's just going to be upset because she's tired or whatever, and so she's going to be difficult to deal with, and she hasn't like decided, even though I feel this way, I know it's no use like embracing this feeling, and I'm just gonna like
Be upset for a while.
she doesn't make the decision to take her emotions and grab them by the neck and beat them against the wall until they shut up because they're not positive and helpful.
Yes.
And
There's
I mean,
no
like,
repression whatsoever.
I get snippy, and it's because I haven't grown up either. You know, like, one of the things I've really noticed as an adult is that I get way more just like grouchy than I used to be as a kid.
Yep. That was me by the end of today. I told Michaela I just needed a little bit of a break, that I needed to get away from humans for a little bit because I was feeling the itch, and she knows what that means, that it's just human beings are around me too much right now, and I need to be away from them before I start acting like a fucking asshole.
You know?
And I catch myself very often now before I become a fucking asshole, and I'm quite proud of that now.
Yeah. I just get like, well, one of the unfortunate, and this is me not being all the way grown up, because I should, there are ways to cope with this, and just to communicate better is a big thing for me, because like, my wife, I silently scream when I've been around people for too long.
Yeah.
And she hears it really hard because she's a girl and she's aware of these things.
Yes.
And I don't say anything.
No.
And I'll just sit at the computer doing, you know, I had to get these memes ready for today. Like, I reinstalled all of my whole meme setup to make it better than it was.
Holy shit.
And I'm really happy with how it is, you know. I learned a lot, and I was applying what I learned, and I'm really happy with. But I didn't act happy because I had a fantastic time at church today. Like, I taught the kids some really just stuff that was really interesting to me, but it was also like really
fun.
It wasn't super fun for them. It was pretty fun for me. But it took a lot of explaining and like thinking for me, because we were going through Jesus's genealogy in the first chapter of Matthew.
Okay.
Which is, it starts at, who does it start at? I think Abraham. And goes through the line of David to Joseph, Jesus's legal dad.
Right.
Obviously not his physical dad. and there's so much cool info in that family tree, and just all kinds of stuff that nobody teaches in Sunday school except me. So I was absolutely loving teaching it to the kids, and they could not care less. Because it's not Sunday school stuff. It's just like really cool stuff that I wish I had learned in Sunday school, and I'm enough of a nerd that I'm like, well, you're in my class, so I'm going to teach you what I love. And just like fitting it into a format that works for them, you know, and it's a huge, it's a vast amount of material to cover. Like, I could just talk about that for like 4 hours, and it would be easier.
Yes, because
than
you're
trying to put it into 45 minutes.
Well, and you're talking to a person more or less on the same intellectual level as you here. You're not having to dumb things down or explain on kid terms. And as shitty as it sounds, that is hard. It is hard.
Well, because you can't just say things the way that you would say it to yourself.
The way that they are. Yes, exactly. You have to change the way you would say things. And simply the act of changing the words I would normally use in the structure of a sentence that would normally come out of my brain is extra taxing on my brain. And that is...
So I was super brain drained after church. And I also had, you know, this whole thing to work through, which I was, you know, perfectly happy with doing, but I looked like I was super pissed off. And I was just like really trying to focus on my computer when I also needed to pay some attention to what the girls needed. And Laura was like, "Why are you yelling at me?" And I was just, you know, completely silent, but my eyes were yelling, you know.
That's... Michaela's getting much better. She was incredibly bad at reading those signs when we first got together, and to the point that she would just keep, you know, poking until I would burst. But that is not her fault, and that is just her wondering what is wrong with the man she loves. She's not trying to upset me. She's trying to understand what's going on. And what I'm trying to convey is, like, I don't want to talk about what's going on. I don't want to explain what's going on.
I want focus time and quiet time so much that I don't even want to speak up to say that I want focus time and quiet time.
Yeah, it's exactly correct.
And add to that, that my wife is super tired all the time because she works really hard, really early for a long time, and then comes home and does parenting and housekeeping stuff that I don't do. I'm not saying I do none of the parenting and housekeeping, but there's stuff I don't do, and she does it when she gets home immediately and without any, like, taking time to relax.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Because that's her, she gets the work done before she relaxes. Whereas, I try to, like, get as much free time in, and then do all of the stuff I have to do that I don't want to do at the absolute last second as fast and sloppy as possible. And that's what's known as a garbage work ethic.
I know what you mean. Well, when I get home from work, I usually make dinner, hang out with the kids for like 10-15 minutes, and then I go into the bathroom for like a half hour or more.
That's an extensive and elaborate poop.
It is. Usually the poop involves a poop, like an entire energy drink, a blunt, and like an episode or two of like QI or Have I Got News for You, or one of the other British panel shows I'm watching right now.
So the bathroom is your sanctuary.
Yes, the bathroom is my sanctuary.
Stinky sanctuary.
Yep, it's my stinctuary.
I am farting up this room like crazy for all of you viewers back home. I have just finished my bag of chips that I
And now I'm
consume
about
by
to
myself
suffer through the bag
in
of
celebration of game night. And I'll give Jeff a break after whenever he feels like being done with this game.
I'm almost done with... Oh, come on. I can't even escape. Oh, you can run away. That's right.
And
Oh, haha. Fuck you, Dad.
I'll probably play something else. And then he can
Alright.
chill.